years ago, the Irish native grey partridge would have been a reasonably common sight across a lot of farmland. But by the mid-1990s, just 20 birds were left in the wild. Now there are huge efforts to try and bring them back, both in the Midlands and here in Carlow.
It's September morning on a farm near Bagnallstown, and a group of young grey partridges are about to be released into the wild. It's the latest step in a project run by the National Association of Regional Game Councils, the N.A.R.G.C.
Morning, Larry.
Good morning, how are you?
How are you doing?
Not too bad at all.
Amazing weather.
Great weather, yeah.
Larry Bolger has volunteered with the association for nearly 10 years, and he's overseeing the operation.
In 2015, we got involved in grey partridge here in Carlow, and it's growing, it's getting bigger every year.
And all these grey partridges that we have in different pens here, how old are they?
There's different ages. We have ones from 7 weeks to 14 weeks. This time of the year, when all the harvest is done, we bring them from this breeding field and we bring them to a release site, and we introduce them into game cover and we release them into the wild.
The N.A.R.G.C. is involved in hunting and conservation. The grey partridge is on the red list of birds in danger of extinction, and a ban on hunting them has been in place since the mid-1990s and is the law today. To help this project, Larry calls on the services of bantam hens, which have long been used as foster mothers in breeding programmes.
Some of the partridges have the grey partridge as their parents, but some of them, when they start laying eggs, we start gathering the eggs and we put them under bantams.
Why?
Because a partridge will lay between 25 and 45 eggs, and a partridge wouldn't be able to cover that many eggs. So instead of wasting the eggs, we take them off the partridge parents and we replace them under bantams. That way it gives us the most success on our breeding programmes.
Each of these pens is home to a family of partridges, which is known as a covey. Until today, these 7 birds have spent all their lives in this one spot.
Well, they're very beautiful plumage, aren't they?
Oh, fabulous.
I presume, Larry, once they're in the back, it'll be nice and quiet for them because
I'll
it'll be
calm
dark.
down now when
Yeah.
it gets dark in the back of the Jeep.
The first step is to take the partridges to a field a mile away, which has been given over to the project by a local farmer. The dramatic decline in grey partridge numbers is because of hunting, the intensification of farming, climate change and the loss of habitats. John Butler is the national chairman of the N.R.G.C.
A realisation has set in about some of the damage that we have inadvertently done over the years, like removing the habitat, removing hedgerows. We did cause a lot of damage to nature, and in particular vulnerable species like the ground nesting birds and that, and hence the demise in their numbers.
If these partridges are to survive and breed, they need the correct habitat. The project members have sowed the field with a variety of grasses, flowering plants, cereal and kale, which give the birds food in the form of insects and protection from predators and the weather.
And what's really striking is the number of butterfly species. I can hear lots of bird species above. Is it the case that what's good for the partridge is actually good for nature in general?
Absolutely, Ellie, yeah. You have an environment that is suitable to game birds, but also to the hundreds of pollinators, the bees, the butterflies, and of course our little songbirds waiting to land in and feed on what you see there.
The 7 partridges have arrived and will be transferred to a pen in a field which has been sown with a good cover crop. This will give them a chance to acclimatise to their new surroundings.
They'll stay in that now for 2 weeks. A local farmer, Mr. Smith, he has that sowed there, and that won't be long about bursting out of the ground now, and the birds will be able to get out into it. More cover to have, the better. We won't see the birds as much with the cover, but we'll know they're there.
There are 5 farmers involved in this Carlow project. Some of them offer the use of their land for free, while others receive public money under the agri-environmental scheme ACRES. These fields are owned by Jim Brown and Joe Summers.
Is it heartening to see them on the land again?
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
So do you see them now quite a bit on your land?
I see them more on my driveway for some reason or other.
Yeah, they're quite fond of the road.
Yeah, and last night, as I was driving home last night, there were 10 of them on the road, so they were there, and they just flew up there, and they were beautiful to see.
Do you hope there might be a significant change now in policy and funding for farmers like yourselves to have more space for nature on your land?
I think so, yes. There's a big, wide open space there, and farmers will be enthusiastic about it.
If they put too many hoops that you have to jump through, people won't grow it. But if you get good encouragement, they will grow it.
At a nearby location, Larry has a covey of 8 birds ready to be released.
So how do we get them to come out through the door?
We don't want to come out by themselves.
OK, so we're
going
going to walk away.
off and they're going to come out into the new environment.
But they take their time.
Do you feel anxious, or is this the best part of the job?
Well, it is rewarding seeing them going off into the wild. There will be sleepless nights, but we'll be on top of it. There they are now walking. Just go easy now and let them walk nice and handy out.
One's got confused behind the door.
Eventually, the last bird finds its way out.
And they're chattering to each other.
They're going to be very vocal over the next hour here, an hour and a half. They're trying to call back the family now. That's what's happening there.
And that's a call that is missing from so much of the countryside in Ireland, but it's back in this field again.
That sound has died in 90% of Ireland. And it's great to have it in the Carlow countryside. And hopefully we'll hear it for many years to come.